The meeting to order, and then if Commissioner Metropolis hops on the call or shows up, we'll fill him in on what's been going on. So I'll turn it over, or actually I'll just do the roll call here. I can see everybody here, but I'll start with Commissioner Harbaugh.
Present.
Commissioner Taylor.
Here. Present.
Okay, Commissioner Morris. I can
Yep.
see you over there. Okay, well, with four of us here, we have a quorum, and I guess I'll ask the lottery directors at the table there to introduce themselves and do a roll call as well.
Ann Charpentier, Sales and Marketing Director, Montana Lottery.
Jolene Boyd, Finance Director, Montana Lottery. Phil Charpentier, IT Services Director.
Bob Brown, Director.
Brian Costigan, Security.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Off the top, any public comment for the good of the order? Before we get started, anything you'd like the commission to address that maybe isn't on the agenda, or something you'd like to talk about right away?
I'm not seeing any public comment at this time.
Okay, thanks, Mike. All right, well, looks like the first on the docket here is Director Costigan. Good to see you, Brian. Glad to see you're still on your chair over there. Go ahead and let's hear the update.
Well, just so you know, I did set a date, Leo. It's Halloween is my last day. So
Okay, well, good. Well, we'll see you in a couple weeks here then.
yeah,
Gonna have a date probably on the docket as well. It's always nice to have something to look forward to.
yeah. Phil, can you pull up? Yeah.
Indeed.
So we've had several discussions over the past couple of months regarding large ticket purchases by out-of-state entities coming in when we have a jackpot that runs up, and what these are groups that travel from state to state that take advantage of take advantage of our large jackpots, and they come in when the jackpot reaches a point, they have enough money to buy every ticket that they're talking about. So we're going to have a rule that proposes that. Before we get to that, though, I want to talk about a couple of other things. First, out of it is update on our shipping. Currently, we spend about $250,000 a year in shipping costs with UPS. It's a lot of money. It's gone up from when I first started, I don't know, 9-10 years ago, whatever it was about $3,000 a week. It's now between $5,000 and $7,000 a week. It doesn't help that the UPS driver makes more money than I do now. That's why their costs have gone up. They also have these surcharges that are unbelievable. So trying to be a good steward of the state's money, we've gone out and started to search for new shippers. There's a company called WPL that does the shipping, which is Western Something Logistics. They do shipping for both the Idaho and the Colorado lotteries. We're looking at them. We're in the process of doing a cost comparison between their rates and that. And the other one would be United States Postal Service. Cost would be less, but it takes longer to deliver. So we're going to work this out. I'll report back to you in September what our results are. We'll probably change at some point from that. And it may be a combination of all three, just depending on who's more expensive to what location and everything like that, which creates some issues for us as far as shipping and things like that. So we'll report back to you in September. So, all right. So the other thing that I briefly mentioned before is these bulk ticket purchases. we had discussed that it gives an unfair advantage to someone that comes in and buys them. After Montanans have spent all this time building a jackpot in this state, Montanans contribute to it. They pay to play the game faithfully. And then they have somebody else come swoop in, buy every available ticket combination and take away the jackpot. It's unfair to our players. It impacts the legitimacy of our games that we have. So we started to look around for some possibly an administrative rule solution for this. After looking at several other states, Arizona had a pretty good solution, and we based a proposed new rule on that. So what we're going to try to do is they work with, when these groups come in, they work with retailers or several retailers to purchase large amounts of tickets. So they have a 2 to 3 day time span between draws for some of our games. So Montana Cash, they'll have 2 days and they have to purchase all these tickets. So they'll go to a couple of retailers and say, hey, we've got the money, we're in state, we're gonna buy every ticket combination that's there. And so they'll do that. We've experienced it 3 times in the past 5 years, both in scratch and draw games. With the scratch games, it works a little bit differently. They'll see what the available prizes are. And then if there's a large ticket prize out there, and they'll do the math to see if they can swoop in and buy every one of the scratch tickets. And then they start going around buying scratch tickets from all the different retailers. But in addition to that, they'll work with the retailer to order large amounts of scratch tickets in that particular game to take advantage of. So once again, it throws off the whole idea. So it creates an appearance of impropriety, mistrust in the lottery, and an uneven playing field for our sales agents out there. Some benefit directly while others are kind of getting screwed in the deal. Whereas in the past, everybody benefits based on your normal sales and everything. So Phil, let's go on to the next one. So what we've done is proposed some additional rules. Under one here, revocation or suspensions of license. This is for the sales agent themselves. If they intentionally facilitate a bulk ticket transaction with a person or persons acting in concert, they're placing their lottery license in jeopardy. So it's a reason for us to revoke or suspend a license. Bulk transaction is defined further on. So Phil, can we move on? We can deny a lottery ticket if it was found to have violated the applicable statute or rule, including but not limited to restrictions relating to bulk ticket transactions. So essentially, all that's saying is if the winning ticket is part of a bulk ticket transaction, we can deny paying it. So that makes it not attractive to these groups that come in from out of state. Next one. And here's a definition of bulk ticket transaction. A bulk ticket transaction occurs when any person or organization purchases in aggregate lottery tickets exceeding 5% of the total lotto game matrix combinations or 5% of the original print run of the scratch game within a 24-hour period. This rule applies regardless whether the purchase occurs in a single transaction or multiple transactions, and or is made at a single location or multiple retail locations. Any such transaction is subject to this restriction. Additionally, the purchase of Montana lottery tickets by multiple persons acting in concert shall be deemed a bulk ticket transaction. The lottery can limit the availability of any single game at a retail location. So we're trying to put some stopgap measures in place to prevent that from happening. So a retailer can't work in concert with them on a scratch game and consistently order 5,000 packs of tickets to sell to that one individual. We didn't have that ability up until this time, with this proposed rule. Bill, the next one. Okay, we're defining what the bulk transaction is for the purposes of rule. Acting in concert includes, but not is limited to, persons or organizations coordinating their purchases, sharing funds for purchases, or acting on behalf of a common interest or strategy to exceed the stated purchase limitations. So essentially what we're doing there is these groups that pool their money together and come in, that's what we're going after. Lottery reserves the right to investigate any purchase patterns it deems suspicious or indicative of bulk ticket transactions. The lottery's determination as to whether a violation of this rule has occurred shall be final and binding. The lottery may consider factors such as, but not limited to, video surveillance, purchase records, witness statements in the investigation. So that next one, I think that could be. So does anybody have any questions on what we're proposing in the proposed rule? Any of the commissioners?
I don't, that seems to make sense. I mean, I know that there's a lot of folks at, offices and pull money, but that wouldn't meet the criteria, that first, definition of a bulk purchase, right?
No, it has to be an awfully big office.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, it makes sense, but there's no way to go after I guess not the people that are acting out, that the main threat here is to go after the retailer.
Well, no, the main threat is their ticket becomes void.
Okay.
So we find out they're doing it. We deny the ticket and they've just lost, $1
Yeah,
million.
true. So you're getting on both sides, I guess. Yeah, okay. I missed that part.
Yeah, and we don't want to go out and we're gonna make the retailers aware of this, and let them know this is what could happen to you. We already have rules in place for some of this that we tell them the same thing every time they sign up. So our LSR staff will be out meeting with the retailers, and when if this goes forward, they'll educate them, let them know what's going on, and there will be a couple of them, retailers that we know that have been working with these people in the past. We'll get some special visits and let them know what's going on with it, and so we can move forward. Any other questions or any statements on this? Yeah.
You say these groups you've seen it or 3 or 4 times in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, who are, I'm asking names, but I mean, are they? It's not like jackpot
No.
scenarios.
No.
It's groups of individuals.
It's a group of it. There's several groups out there who have investors who have a large pool of money, and this is what they do. They monitor all the lotteries around the country, and they look for the opportunity to swoop in and buy all ticket combinations. And so between the winning grand prize, like on our Montana Cash, what was it the last time? 1.2 million for the grand prize. And then in addition to that, you have all the sub prizes in there, the $2 push or whatever. It adds up to a significant amount of money. So they're making money when they come in and do that. Now, the risk for them when they come in and do that is someone at the town pump up here who just buys the ticket could also buy the winning ticket, and then they have to split it. But they're playing the odds and they're making money on it. And it's become an interest or a huge a huge issue within the industry. One of the other things that's concerning about it, and where it really came up was the issue in Texas, where the state of Texas lottery actually catered to them. And they utilized a courier service and gave them additional machines to do all this stuff. We don't do that here. That's just not the way we operate. We have 2 courier services in the state. Both courier services are licensed through us, and we treat them like any other retailer. You know, so they don't play in this case. They're not. It's not like Texas. I'll just leave it like that. So, did that answer your question?
You know, and I can say that, you know, virtually every state right now that has a lottery is going through a similar discussion on how they're going to handle this. You know, it's I don't want to say it's a totally new thing, but it is kind of a new thing in the lottery. That, you know, these purchases are going on, and everybody's looking for the best way to deal with that, whether they're going to allow them in their state or they're not, you know. And I can tell you there's also discussions happening with within the muscle group, the Powerball group, and the NASPL on just how are they going to deal with it as well, you know. Is it going to be allowed? Is it not going to be allowed? And it's, you know, it won't be long, and we'll be seeing legislation on how this, you know, people think we should handle this. But for us to take I believe it's good for us to take a proactive approach to that and start moving in what we feel is the right direction.
Leo, any other questions or anything?
No, sounds good. I guess so you're just looking for a motion to move forward with this at this point, and you know that the rules and stuff haven't formally been drafted. How quick can this come together?
They're actually been drafted. What is in the presentation is what's been drafted. They're ready to go. Actually, they're scheduled to go out. I think for public comment, I think it's tomorrow is the date in the Secretary of State's schedule.
If we get commission.
Yeah, so that's why we're asking for proposed to move forward at this point on this. We'll also send out notifications to interested parties. There's an opportunity for public comment. We don't anticipate a public hearing, but if I hear from, I think it's 25 people or more, or a major interest group, we'll have a public hearing. So, and then that's all listed within the notice of proposed rulemaking when it goes out. So I would ask for permission to move forward. And we want to ask for public comment at this time too.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So let's do that first. Any public comment online or in the room?
Mr. Chairman, Rhonda
Yep.
Wigger, Montana County Machine Operators Association. Just a couple of things. We discussed this at our meeting a little bit, that this had happened and wondered what you were gonna do. It might be helpful if you go out, if you actually do the math for your location owners ahead of time so that they know how many tickets that would be, to be 5%, I think is what you said. So there's an idea that that's not, I could just go down the street buying 100 tickets, and maybe the last vendor then would be, the last bar would be in trouble because I bought 100 tickets. Let them know what that number is. I can do the math. I know that that's not the number, but I don't know that everybody knows how to do that math. I'll be honest. I had to look it up. It's been a lot of years since I was in that class in high school. I had to look up what the multiplication numbers were. Secondly, I don't want to see us get sued over this, so we asked the attorney. This seems to me that this needs legislative action, because this is limiting a payout on a lottery that's fair. And you could argue at the judge that I could see someone arguing in front of a court that why does the state care who gives them the money? It's tax money you're collecting. We just call it a game, but it is money would collect to fund the state, so why would we care if somebody else wanted to pay it? Yeah, I understand what you're saying, we understand what you're saying, and agree with you, but we wanna also make sure that we don't end up in court and and get a ruling that you can't stop these. Because we didn't go through the proper legislative processes to write rules without legislative intent.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah,
Rhonda, we've had several different lawyers look at it,
Okay.
and it's been approved so far through the process.
My concern would just be that we don't wanna get it thrown out for process rather than
Yeah.
content,
It's actually gone up to the governors.
set precedent.
yeah, could you walk us through that process a little bit, Brian? I mean, so that
Sure,
you're saying no
so,
hearing isn't anticipated, it's like, um, the option there would be for some kind of legislative approval at some point, right? If everyone felt that was necessary, or if the governor's office or Secretary of State felt it was necessary.
so where we're at on some of this is that this commission has rulemaking authority. And this is a rule for our games, which falls into your authority. And this is the way I understand it based on what the lawyers have been telling me. So, we can do that. And so the process will be, we've drafted the rules have been reviewed by, D of A and, I believe they were kicked up, I think, to the lieutenant governor, at least to the governor's office. And came back down from that. And then now they'll go to the Secretary of State for the notice of proposed rulemaking. And during that time period that's in there, if I hear from 25 people or, let's say Rhonda's group saying they wanna have a hearing, we'll set a date for a hearing and we'll have a hearing. And then we will have to, if there is a hearing and there are substantive issues brought up, we have to react to those issues and comment on them and make any changes that we have to make before it can become a rule. And then after a certain amount of period of time, then it becomes a rule.
Okay. Yeah, it just seems like there could potentially be enough money involved here if somebody did get washed out on a prize and they spent a bunch of money. And I mean, has any of the other states faced litigation on these type of, you said, Director Brown said this was kind of something everybody's dealing with. Has this been tested at all, or?
Not that I'm aware of. Obviously, Texas is the one in the news, but theirs is a whole other big mess. Other states are starting to deal with it. Like I said, specifically Arizona is the one that I was most interested in because of the way they wrote their rules. And it seems to be moving forward. If there is a challenge, and we've had challenges to a rule in the past, we'll deal with it. And we actually have that conversation every time we do this, and we get the blessing from D of A's legal saying that they're willing to defend us if there is a challenge. So.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, to me, this seems reasonable, and it seems like a bigger problem because the first thing that when I heard that, I was kind of thinking the same way Rhonda is like, hey, states getting their money, but this type of thing, I could see it's pretty seriously how this would affect our everyday player and their confidence in the system and their ability their willingness to just keep playing if they know that they're going to go buy this Montana cash jackpot, but they know some group from outside is going to swoop in and buy 70% of the tickets. It just undercuts the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I'd entertain a motion to move forward with this. These proposed changes to the administrative rule. There's one out there.
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion or public comment or anything from the commission or anybody else in the room? I'm not seeing anything online either. So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay. Motion approved. Yeah, you folks go ahead and move forward with this, and good luck with everything.
Thank you. Dale, you're on mute.
Sorry. Next up is to turn it over to Phil for the IT update and the contract info.
Thank you, Chairman. For the record, my name is Phil Charpentier, IT Services Director for the Montana Lottery. I want to thank the Commission for agreeing to meet for this interim Commission meeting. As you know, the current lottery operating system contract will end on March 31st, 2026. The lottery has been working with the State Procurement Services Division since March of 2024, first with our request for information to all interested parties, and then just recently with the request for proposal process that is nearing completion. This RFP for the lottery operating system contract was posted to all interested parties on March 31st, 2025. It closed on June 2nd, 2025, and we received 2 bids for consideration. One from our incumbent provider, Intralot Inc., and the other from our incumbent scratch product provider, Scientific Games, who had previously also provided our lottery operating system from 1999 through 2006. The evaluation committee tasked with reviewing and scoring the 2 responses we received consisted of 5 members, including myself, Representative Stephen Kelly, Kyler Baker from the State Financial Services Division, Jason Harlow from the Office of Budget and Program Planning, and the State Information Technology Services Division Chief Information Officer Kevin Gilbertson. I want to take this opportunity to personally thank these folks for taking the time out of their busy schedules to help the Montana Lottery with this very important process. The RFP consisted of nearly 100 scoreable sections. The responses included a combined total of over 2,600 pages, including nearly 800,000 words, which the evaluation committee had to independently read, review, and score. We all understood the assignment. Nobody took this responsibility lightly. So thank you to my fellow evaluation committee members and to our senior contracts officer, Anna Lubick, who guided us through the entire process, and also to our legal representative, Don Harris, who is also here today to help answer any questions you may have. He is available online. Consensus scoring took place on July 7th and 8th, and a product demonstration and interview was held with each vendor on July 24th. The outcome from the consensus scoring, interview process, and cost comparison can be found on the Notice of Intent to Award on the State Procurement Services website, Procurement Services Division website, which all lottery commissioners also received and reviewed. However, I will summarize the results now for the group. Through our consensus scoring process, it was determined that Intralot Inc. is the apparent winner of both the technical portion of the process and the cost proposal. Intralot received nearly 89.4% of the available points for their responses, while Scientific Games received approximately 84.7% of the available points for the technical portion of the RFP. Intralot also scored notably higher than Scientific Games with their cost proposal, which equates to a calculated 5 cents on the dollar, compared to SG with a calculated 12.9447 cents on the dollar. Mind you, those results are based on a formula we use to determine the score cost. The actual amounts are slightly different, but the outcome is as I just mentioned. At this point, I'd like to pause and ask the commission if there are any questions that I can answer, or perhaps our legal representative, Don Harris, can answer about the results or the RFP process itself.
Anybody have anything?
Not seeing any public comment at this time.
Okay. No, it seems pretty, I mean, I reviewed the info that was sent over and it looks pretty good, clear cut to me. You know, from what I was seeing. So I appreciate the work. It looks like Don has his hand raised here. I might Don, are you active to speak? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate that. Yeah, if I could, I just wanted to take a minute to kind of go over where we are now in the process, if that would be all right. Okay, and so the couple different statutes are guiding us at this point in the process. We talked a lot about 184304, which is the Montana Procurement Act, and that's the statute that governs the request for proposals. And that statute says that request for proposals has to explain, you know, the basis for which it's being evaluated, so the evaluation criteria, and then the final award has to be based on those evaluation criteria. So the RFP evaluation committee made its award recommendation based on those criteria and the points as Director Charpentier described. And then the last step here is where we are now. We have to provide a notice of intent to award a contract, give the public an opportunity to submit written comments about the potential award of a contract. And I checked in with the procurement officer, Anna Lubick, and she stated that we received no comments during the comment period. So that's good. There's nothing for you to review there, nothing for you to think about or decide upon there. And then the next statute I wanted to bring to your attention is 184307. That statute says that basically if you have an RFP, you can cancel the RFP if it's in the best interest of the state. So one of the options that's available to the commission is, hey, we'd like to cancel this RFP. And then at that point, you probably would do a new RFP and go through this process again. The other option, which I think we're all hoping that you choose, but that would be to move forward with the award. Now we're in the lottery statutes. Montana Code Annotated Section 23.7.211, subsection 2A states, with the concurrence of the commission or pursuant to commission rules, the director may enter into a contract for materials, equipment, and supplies to be used in the operation of the state lottery. So what we're asking you to do today is to concur with the recommendations of the evaluation committee and award this contract to the highest scoring offerer, which in this case was Entralot. So just a little bit more on that role for you all. As I said, in every RFP, there's a final decision maker. The decision maker is usually different from the evaluation committee. And so the evaluation committee reviews and scores proposals and makes a recommendation, but it's the final decision maker who decides whether a contract should actually be awarded as a result of the RFP. You, as the final decision maker, will review the recommendations of the evaluation committee. We didn't receive any comments, but if we had, you'd review those comments. You can always request additional information from the procurement officer if you feel that you need that information to make a final decision. And then ultimately, you'll make the final decision as to whether or not to award a contract to the highest scoring offerer. It is not the role of the final decision maker, in this case, the commission, to rescore proposals. You just say kind of yes or no. Yes, we're going to move forward with the recommendation, or no, we're not going to award a contract as a result of the RFP. If you agree with the evaluation committee's recommendation, um, then we will proceed with signing a contract with the highest scoring offerer. If you do not agree with the recommendations, you can decline to award a contract. And if you do that, like I said before, we would probably just go back out for another RFP and kind of go through this process again. Um, let's see. And then once a final contract is signed, that will be the beginning of a protest period. At that point, anyone who submitted an offer will have 14 days to protest the contract award. And then there's a whole separate process that we go into from there. But that's kind of the background. If you have any questions, as Director Charpentier said, I'm happy to take questions and help you out. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Appreciate your input there. That's a great breakdown for us. Any questions from the commission at this point, or questions for the staff, or for, about, or for Dawn about this process moving forward, what we need to do?
Commissioner Morris.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, Phil, you said that in the end that it was 5 cents on the dollar compared to 13 cents on the dollar. How does that relate to past contract and the moving forward? Is there significant savings in this new contract, or is it status quo?
Well, I can tell you that the current contract we have now with Intralot is approximately 8 cents on the dollar. So not only did Intralot come in lower than Scientific Games, they came in lower than their current contract rate, which is outstanding.
Yeah, thank you. You should have mentioned that.
I didn't get finished, but I think Don hit all my highlights.
Commissioner Harbaugh, see your hand raised there.
And this is a 5-year contract duration, am I correct?
This is a 7-year contract with 3 1-year extensions available, so a total of potentially 10, but 7 is.
Okay.
Yeah, so this seems like quite a deal with the lottery. I guess I'd ask that, if there's any reason that the staff thinks, I know, like, that it sounds like that the procurement process and the process that was outlined by Phil a moment ago, and that was kind of laid out to us for, like Phil said, starting back in 2024. Very thorough, and I trust that process. But is there any other reason that, that any concern from the staff that at this point, working with, we've had a relationship with, I guess, going on 20 years with Interlot. I think this seems like a good deal. But anything else that anybody has to add to that, or concerns about moving forward from the staff?
No. There is one thing I would like to add.
Yeah.
In his opening here, Phil talked about, or Director Charpentier talked about all the effort that had gone in. Well, there is nobody that has put any more effort into it than he has, and I think everybody owes him a great big thank you, and we appreciate all the hard work that you put into this, and we know that the work is really just beginning, but we know that you're up to the job, and we just appreciate it so much that you would dedicate so much of your life to getting this done, because that's really what he has done. And I just want everybody to know how much appreciation we have for him.
Well said. I concur.
Mr. Chairman, I got one
Yeah.
more for Phil. Originally in this whole thing in the contract, we were gonna get basically all the equipment replaced. The monitors and the terminals and everything. And how much is gonna take place now? Or is the reason for the savings because Interlock doesn't have to come in and change out all the terminals and everything?
No, Commissioner, the RFP clearly states all new equipment, and Intralot and as Scientific Games both agreed, yes, absolutely, new equipment. So not only are we getting brand new equipment, we're getting this lower rate. And for whatever reason, Intralot was able to bid lower. I appreciate the effort. I will hold them to the standards of the RFP and the contract itself. We have new performance standards, new liquidated damages that we will hold our vendor accountable to. And yeah, I'm just pleased as can be.
Great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, any other public comment or discussion? Well, then I would.
Public
Oh.
comment. Sorry, Commissioner Brady, I'm not seeing any public comment at this time.
Okay, thanks, sir. Yeah, I would, as the final decision makers here, we've got the processes is completed, and I would entertain a motion to formally award the contract to the recommended vendor of Interlock.
This is Tony. I would make the motion.
Thanks, Tony.
I'll second.
Thanks, Jenna. Moved in second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. All right. Good work, Phil. The award is formally been made by the decision has been made by the commission, and good luck moving forward, and I guess we'll begin meeting here in a couple weeks here so we could get an update on how that's going. But yeah, I echo with what Director Brown said. Great job by everybody. I know it wasn't easy, and I'm glad we got here, and it looks like the lottery got a heck of a deal. So and thank you to Dawn. I know you've been a huge help to the commission through this whole thing, and yeah, it was a good effort. I guess moving forward on the agenda, looks like I'll turn it over to Director Brown for just a general update.
General update, one thing, people don't realize all the stuff that happens here. There's a lot of people at work that are always, we have our new finance director who is doing a fabulous job, kind of taking a look at everything and how that's handled, and I know she'll be coming with some updates before too long, and how things are changing there. Our marketing department is doing a fabulous job looking at what the future looks like and how we begin to move forward with that. Once again, the IT department, they do a fabulous job, but it's always things going on here. And I guess one of the more important things I do want to mention today also is this gentleman sitting next to me here has decided that it might be time for him to move on to greener pastures or whatever it is. He doesn't have a date set for his retirement. We will, unless we can figure out a way to keep him around a little longer, we will certainly miss him here. He does a huge job. He's kind of the piece of glue that keeps everybody in line, and he's been doing a good job at it for a long time. And one more thing that I do have for him today is his 40 years of service for the state of Montana. He has dedicated his life to serving the people of Montana. And we just would like to congratulate you, wish you well in your retirement. Obviously, don't be a stranger when you finally do we finally do let you get out of here, but we will keep you as long as we can.
Thank you, Bob. I have one more commission meeting left, so you'll have to put up with me for another little bit more here in a couple of weeks, but thank you. Looking forward to doing something a little different, though. It's always been great to work with people at the lottery, and you know, Tony can relate to this a little bit. Once you leave regular, for lack of a better term, regular law enforcement and start doing other things, it's nice to see that there are good people in the world and normal people in the world. And the lottery was healthy for me to do that. So thank you.
Brian, I tell people I don't miss the circus. I just miss the clowns.
That's right.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you in again a few weeks here, Brian. And yeah, great work. It's been great getting to know you. And yeah, retirement's gotta be you gotta be looking forward to it, I'd imagine. Um, so anything else, Director Brown, that for the good of the order, before we move on to any final public comment?
I'm good.
Okay. Any final public comment on the meeting today before we wrap up?
I'm not seeing anything online.
Okay.
Nothing in the room, Leo.
Okay. Well then, it looks like we'll be back over, the next scheduled meeting is on Thursday, the 11th of September. Look forward to seeing everybody then, and I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay. Second?
Seconded.
Okay. Then we're adjourned. Yeah, thanks everybody. Again, Phil, Ryan, Director Brown, everybody over there, Don Harris, great job. We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Stay safe.